Hey, everybody, welcome back to the CNC with Dave show. We've got another good show for you tonight. We have Drew Short from Rockin Woodshop. It's going to be talking about his Piranha CNC. We haven't had anybody on with any of the next wave automation, I guess, machines. So looking forward to that. We've also got Tim Sway joining us tonight. Who just recently acquired a Piranha, is my understanding. So, but before we get started, I want to go through, we'll let everybody do their introductions and plug your channel or what have you. So, Becca, we'll start with you. You have to unmute yourself.
I'm not too swift. Okay. Becca Miller, and the only place you can find me is on Facebook, but I'll be happy to talk to anybody. And I also own a Piranha FX and hope to learn some stuff tonight. Thanks.
Okay, thanks for being with us tonight, Becca. Next, we have David Battershell.
Yes, David Battershell. Thanks, Dave. Once again, I want to thank you for inviting me. I'm David Battershell. I am just a hobbyist. You can find me on basically Facebook. I'm in the process of building a CNC. I'm using the Shade Tree CNC plans and all of Dave's knowledge to get me where I need to be.
Okay, well, thanks for being with us tonight, David. Next, Juan.
Hi, guys. My name is Juan Lopez. I'm from Dallas, Texas. My channel is here on YouTube is G-Code 1 Design. You can find me, of course, on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. Thanks for having me, Dave.
Okay, thanks for being here, Juan. Next, we got Mark Lindsay.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I am Mark Lindsay, and you can find me most active here on YouTube, especially active on Facebook, and on both under this name, Mark Lindsay. And when I can remember that I'm on Instagram, I'm also on Instagram. Thank you for having me, Dave.
Okay, thanks for being here, Mark. Now we've got the other Mark.
Thanks for having me, Dave. It's Mark Graves. I'm from London, Ontario, Canada. I have a Facebook website under Mark's Custom Design. Also have a YouTube channel, Mark's Custom Design. And I just started a new series in the last few weeks called Shop Time on there, and it just kind of chronicles my day-to-day workings. I'm about a week behind in posting, but it's a fun watch. You can ask Mark Lindsay there. He's my one and only fan. Again, thanks for having me out, Dave.
Okay, thanks for being here, Mark. Drew, I'm going to skip over you since you're the spotlight here tonight. We'll go with Russ Meadows.
Hello, everybody. Russ Meadows. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and eventually YouTube. Eventually. Okay. Under Rusty Nails Woodshop.
All right, thanks for being here. And we've got Mr. Tim Sway in the house tonight.
Hey, how you doing, Dave? My name is Tim Sway. I'm on the interwebs as Tim Sway pretty much everywhere, and I'm also one of the co-hosts of the Reclaimed Audio podcast on iTunes and Stitcher and all those fun places. Yeah, and I just got a CNC.
Yeah, great. And by the way, I want to appreciate you guys giving me a shout out the other day on the show. I think Mr. Lutz gave me a little shout out over there, so I appreciate that.
Yes, he was plugging this this program as well as the fact that you're having a giveaway.
Yes, we are having a giveaway. We'll probably talk about that a little more towards the end of the show. But now I want to get to our spotlight guest here, Mr. Drew Short. How are you, Drew?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I appreciate the invite.
Okay, well, we want to hear all about your Piranha machine. What can you tell us about it?
Well, I received this machine from Rockler and Next Wave Automation back when I think I started my 4th season. And so far, whenever I had acquired it, I was interested in doing branding with it, like putting my logo, my signature, and everything like that I wanted to use for it. So whenever I received it, it did not have a router with it. so I had to talk to a Rockler to see if I could perhaps get a router attachment for this. So they ended up sending me a Bosch Colt to stick in here, which is the more common router that's used in it. The router base itself is very it's very good for like desktop kind of functions, like benchtop stuff. It's not a really heavy machine. It's easily movable around your shop, especially if you have something small like I do. So I don't really have a dedicated spot to do CNC work. It just kind of sits on my back workbench here, and then I move it to my assembly table when I'm ready to use it. The way the setup, I mean, the cable system is a little to be desired. I have not figured out a way to mount it and make it nice and tidy and neat. So I still got a lot of cables kind of hanging around. But I guess if you had a dedicated spot, a lot of that can be taken care of. The machine itself is great. There are some limitations since it is a smaller unit. You don't exactly have the big wide tables that you would normally get on a big CNC. But for smaller work and carvings and part making, this thing is the beans to have. It does take a little bit of getting used to as far as the software goes. That was my biggest obstacle, is trying to figure out that software. But the software that it came with is called VCarve, and it is only useful on Windows-based software. And since I'm a Mac guy, I ended up having to buy a laptop that was running on Windows software. So that was one of the downsides. I tried to see if there was a way that it would run on Mac, and nobody could tell me that it could. So that was a little con there. Once I figured out the software, well, I say figured out. Once I figured out how to open the software, I did try. I did try and look at some of the tutorials. They do come with several tutorials that are pretty in depth, but I know that some of them, the way they're arranged, doesn't seem like here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. It's kind of like pick your subject matter. What is it that you want to do, and then watch that tutorial, and then it goes pretty good in depth, but you really have to pay attention. But what I wanted to do, the very first project, was just making a plaque that just had my logo on it, and I was going to make a frame to go around it and everything. And I've managed to find that particular subject matter, just basically general setup and zeroing out your XYZ axis, and then go to town with designing your tool path and importing logos and turning it into vector files that way. So I mean, it takes a little bit of getting used to just to figure out the software. But once you figure that part out, the machine itself, just turning it on and letting it go, that's I wish I could do that with every tool I got.
Yeah. Now, Drew, does of course you cleared up the Mac versus Windows thing there. Do you have a laptop or something connected to that, or how do you get it to run a program?
Well, the program is installed on the laptop, and I do all the design work on that, of course, and then I save it to a USB jump drive, and then I plug it into the control box. There is a USB spot right there for it. And then you just upload that file to the control box and tell it to execute once you have it all zeroed out, and the rest is history after that.
Okay, so you can keep your laptop away from the dust and all that then, which is
yes,
pretty nice idea, really.
Yeah, I like that part because I can go in the house and stay out of the cold. I can take it anywhere on the road and do several designs and save them on my drive, and then when I'm ready to make that certain design, then I can just plug it in and go. All the hard work's done after that.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty neat feature, being able to just plug that thumb drive in there.
Yeah, my brother has a Grizzly CNC that he purchased for machine milling, and his laptop has to stay connected to the CNC to make it work. So that is a downside to that particular kind of unit. So I really do like this. It's kind of like having SketchUp on your laptop. You can go anywhere and do all your designs and save them, and then come back to your CNC later.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Tim. A while ago, I saw you kind of shaking your head and laughing there. Are you a Mac guy too?
I had to go out and buy the PC that I'm actually using right now to run mine. And I went through the whole thing because I've been using Macs since the blue bubble.
I know what
I still have it. I still have it in my shop. I'm gonna turn it into a lamp or something. I don't know. But I'm sorry.
An aquarium.
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah, or cat litter box or something, but so I had to go out and buy this PC to use it, and I was looking into potentially doing a dual boot because you can do that on Macs now because they're all the same chip now and everything, and I was thinking about doing that, but then I just ended up just doing this, and I'm happy that I did it because I like having a PC in my life now, and I also like not having my $1,000 Mac in the shop. Even though, like you said, it's great because you don't have to actually put the laptop next to the dust creator. I love that I can put it on the other side of the shop. But you still find yourself in there making adjustments and tweaking. And this laptop I'm using cost me like $300. My Mac was a heck of a lot more. It stays at home and doesn't have any dust on it right now, so I kind of don't have a problem with that anymore.
Well, as a longtime PC user, let me just say to both of you, welcome home from the dark side.
Let's just say I'm still on the fence. I don't know if I want a green lightsaber or a red one.
You can always pick blue.
Yeah.
At least you ain't using a broom handle no more.
It's not as bad as I thought. Now, it was funny because this is actually the second laptop I bought. I went and I was like, I'm only going to use it for this VCarve program, and it's a pretty simple program, so I don't need some powerhouse machine. So I went and I bought the cheapest. I'm such a moron. One of these days I'll learn. I bought the cheapest, little laptop I could buy, and it was a Celeron processor, which I can't believe they still make those. And so it was just, you couldn't even turn it on without it tripping over itself. And so then I spent an extra $75. I bought $20 worth of RAM, put into this machine, and it's actually great. I'm super pleased with it, and it took all that pain away of learning a new computer as well as learning this new machine. So it's not a complete deterrent like I thought it would be.
I'm glad you feel that good about it.
So are you guys both running the latest Windows on your new PC base?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's 10 or something like that. Yeah.
Good, honest answer. No.
Yeah.
What was in there when I bought it? I don't know.
So I guess I have a question. Like a lot of the ones that I've been noticing, we run Mach 3, and there's been quite a bit of conversation recently about if something were to happen and you have a hiccup and it dies in the middle of your carving, what do you do in this case when you just load it up on the flash drive? You have to rerun it and let it cut air to get back to that point, or have you run into that yet?
You want to go?
Well, I mean, since everything is saved on the jump drive, I mean, are you talking about if I finished the entire?
No, like if you had an instance where something happens and maybe you have a power hiccup or something stops before you finish, how do you get back to that point since you don't have a last line executed portion to go back to?
There's no way to do it on that machine that I've found. You have to start it all over from the beginning again. That's what I loved about Mach 3 when I moved over to Mach 3, is you can control that completely. Over there, you either start it or you stop it, and there's no going back.
Does it have a way to zero your machine, Drew? I mean, do they have limit switches on them or anything like that?
No.
Not that I'm aware. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just kind of jog it to the position you want to make your zero, and then that's how you zero it out.
And then you save it. There's a plate that you can buy, apparently, which I don't have, but
it's
kind of
really cool.
Yeah. Does it work well?
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, like I had that where I've been experimenting with the machine, and I just went and cut air just to get to where I left off. I just waited, and it didn't really bother me any because it's all still just magic to me. So
you can pause and restart.
Yes.
You can't,
Yep.
yeah, but you can't you can't go back or forward or, turn the machine off and start up again at the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, if I've spent an hour watching that machine cut and the power goes off,
You're
then I
dead.
start the machine up and I watch
you
it
hope-
cut another hour in air before I can get back to where I started from.
Yes.
And you hope
That's
you
when
can
you can
get
make
to-
a sandwich.
I
You
guess
don't have to watch.
at that
You
point you
leave.
could just rewrite the program.
Yep,
Yeah, you can do that too.
Because you could go if your laptop's there, you could go back and just edit the vector.
Yeah.
You know?
But if you just stood there and watched it run for an hour, you've got time to watch it run for another hour.
Yes.
Good point, Mark.
Yeah.
So Russ, back to your complaint. Balls in your court.
Well, I don't sit there and watch mine run for an hour. I have other things to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, what kind of machine is it you have again, Russ?
Oh, I have the best machine that I know of. It's that Gatton CNC. That beautiful orange thing that just shines. And it's got the same colors of my favorite team, the Florida Gators.
Yeah, that was just coincidence, though.
Now, I can't believe you let that go.
It was on sale. I do have a couple of questions for you there, Drew, from the folks in the chat room.
Okay.
Peter Pasuelo, Mr. CNC Nuts. He asks, what is the cutting area of that little piranha?
Well, I could give you the measurements of the table, but that's not going to give you the exact amount.
Is that the same size machine as an FX?
Yes, the FX is just basically an upgraded version with the laser and.
It's 12.
Okay, well,
It's 12 by 13.
yeah, I was going to say if it's the same, I kind of try to do
Yeah.
some research looking at the Next Wave Automation website.
Just
They say the table's 12. The table's 12 by 18, but I think the cutting area is 12 by 13, like Becca
It only
said.
goes to 13. Yeah.
But I will tell you to stop at 12 and a half.
Exactly. This sucker
Dude,
makes a
I
nasty
had-
noise.
Because
I saw
my
that
video I
video,
just put
Tim.
up this week. Yeah, it's 12 by 12. That seems great. So,
Right. That's pretty much what I use, 12 by 12.
yeah. So just it way easier.
But I must say, if you can look at the side, can you turn your machine over to this around to so we can see the side? Yeah. See how that's shaped?
So, like the end of the table, I mean, you can see it.
What I like about it is you get the way it's shaped, it goes all the way to the end.
That's where it stops as far as the back of the table. So, I mean, it'll go all the way to the front, of course, but
Yeah, and you could probably gain a little bit if you wanted to hang it off too, I suppose.
yeah. I mean, that's 12 inches from center to the edge of the table. And it does exceed the table a little bit in the front.
Okay. Okay.
Do they sell a bigger model?
For the Piranha, no. And I don't think the way this is manufactured that you can buy extension tables because there is a cap at both ends, so you would have to buy longer.
They
Longer
do have a new Piranha. It's like an XL or something like that. It's a little bit longer. But then the next step up would be the Shark, which is the same Next Wave company, and it's the same software and the same setup. It's just, and then they start getting larger sizes. But there is one newer Piranha that's a little bit longer, but it's still narrow.
Yeah, according to their website that I was looking at earlier today, the XL has a table of 12 by 24. So I guess it would have a cutting area of about 12 by 19 or something like that, I guess, if the other one was 12 by 13. But and I saw somebody else ask in the chat too. They were asking about your router, and I think you said it was a Bosch.
Yeah,
Is what you have?
Bosch Colt, and it's a little 1 horsepower, like a little palm router.
Mhm.
Mine came with a Delta. I can't remember the number.
It's a cute little router for a cute little machine.
Yeah, little.
Okay, now we had another question in here from Gussie Banjos. Are you able to run Mach 3 on that Piranha, or are you basically have to stay with their proprietary controller software?
Yeah, this is a Next Wave Automation software, so it's it's specific to their product.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an all-in-one kind of thing. But I think that I find attractive about it as being a complete newbie to this is that it's like one less thing to learn. It's like you just plug the chip in and go. And so I imagine that people that are more experienced in CNCing and have more experience with the software might find that as a problem. Like, for someone just starting out, I see it as a bonus right now.
I don't know if you answered this already or said it already, but do you know what the file is when you use the VCarve software and download it to your USB and stick it in? Do you know what the file is? Is it a DXF? Is it It's
a .tap and it's proprietary to them.
Okay.
But you can, from the software that came with it, you can save your file. I have a video coming out on Friday. Actually, I have a file share coming out this coming Friday, and I was able to use the software to create this file and then save it as an SVG. So
okay,
so you can do that in the software. It has DXF and all that stuff too. So it's not completely self-contained just to get into the machine.
So there are a few variations of what files it will accept to be able to bring into the software.
No, the machine itself will only read the .taps.
Okay.
He's talking about VCarve, and VCarve's used everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's not just New Wave. But the New Wave box only runs that Piranha, and you can't use Mach 3 or anything else on it.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think a good portion of us use VCarve. And some of us might use Aspire, but I think just about everybody here uses VCarve.
So I noticed, Drew, when you held up the disc case for the VCarve.
Yep.
It's got Next Wave Automation on it. So when you use that and go to generate the tap file that you're going to put on your thumb drive, is there only one post processor to select from since that came with that machine? I've got my old VCarve Pro opened up, and of course, the one I have, it didn't come with a machine. So it's when you go to select the post processor, it's got all kinds of different machines over here. And I was opening it up to see if I could find the Piranha or I don't know what.
This one has all three compatible units with it. It's got the CNC Shark Piranha FX, so it'll run all three setups for both Piranhas as well as the CNC Sharks.
Dave, mine came with the VCarve desktop, and it had all of the post processors that you get normally, but it also had the proprietary Next Wave post processors, and it taught you in the paperwork how to pull those out and put them in the little my PP file so that they came up.
Yeah, I see that there's no, I don't see one for the Piranha, but maybe that Piranha may be newer than what my software is, because I'm on 7.5 of VCarve Pro. But there is some post processors there for the it says CNC Shark -USB. And of course, there's one for inch or metric. So
you can download it from their website.
Yeah.
Just curious, have you guys tried opening the file as far as on a notepad or something like that?
No.
No? Wondering what kind of, if it's not Fanuc control, what kind of, whether it's a plot code or what it is that it uses to.
Yeah, I'm wondering just how proprietary it is, or if it really is proprietary. It may just seem proprietary, but it would probably run on something else.
Flow like
you open it up a notepad, it might be a simple G code.
Yeah, I think that I opened it up. I was talking with a fellow that knows a heck of a lot more about this stuff than me, and I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, I sent it to him as a text file, and he was able to open it up as text. Because I know if you look on the little screen that comes with the Piranha, you can actually click on it, you can scroll through it and read it, and it's all just kind of like a text file.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it's not as proprietary as it seems. I don't think it's like trying to plug your iPhone into your your Droid plug. I think they'll fit.
Dave, I just opened one up. It looks just like G code to me.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It's probably and there's a lot of different files that they try to like when you save a G code file, it may put an extension of TXT, it may put TAP, it may put .nc, but basically they're just text files and when you open them up, it's G code. So
yeah, they have their software to look for that little extension in that G code to tell it to what to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we got any other questions over there for Drew?
Yes, sir. And let's see, Shade Tree CNC, Richard wants to know, why are we not seeing you guys make YouTube videos using the CNC? That's a loaded one.
I remember meeting him down in Florida at one of the Rockler events. So good to have you in the comment section. Like I said, I wanted to use it a lot more in my videos, and then I found myself not really utilizing it as much as I wanted. Plus, it's on like I said, I'm a Mac user. I like Mac. I don't like going to PC like Tim much prefers, but
Whoa, slow down.
no, you did. You said you were happy to have PC again.
I'm happy to have both.
But in any case, for the simple fact that it's run on PC, I don't find myself anxiously wanting to get on that computer and make some more files. I know I should, but I seem to be hooked on SketchUp right now and making a whole bunch of plans. So maybe after I get these caught up, and I'll start making a bunch more plans for tool paths and everything for a lot more carvings that I want to use in my projects later. But right now, I'm still kind of debating.
Well, in your defense, Drew, there are many YouTube woodworker type people that got some kind of a CNC, whether it was given to them or they paid a little something for it or whatever, and you don't really see them using it. They did the unboxing video and maybe did the first little project and stuff, and then you kind of never see them again. But I will give you some incentive, though. I was going to talk about this later, and I don't know if you or Tim, I think probably everybody else on the panel here knows about it, but I am starting it's called the 2016 Gatton CNC Christmas Challenge, where you make a video making some kind of a project using a CNC with a Christmas theme. The video doesn't have to be fancy or anything. The contest is going to be judged on the project and not so much the quality of the video and stuff like that. So we've got that coming up, which starts next Friday, Black Friday, and we're going to take entries from November 25th right up until Christmas Eve at 11:59 p.m. and then we're going to announce the winners on live here on this show on January 7th. So you've got time to fire that thing up, Drew.
Now I just got to figure out what to make with it. So it's 100% made on the CNC?
Well, that doesn't necessarily have to be 100% made. It's just, we want to be able to see enough in the video to tell that it was made on the CNC.
Okay.
At least some of it,
Okay. So incorporate the CNC at least into the project.
Yes.
Okay. I think I can handle that. I'll do my best.
You're going to glue something together and clamp it on there.
He'll come up with some kind of crazy joint, knowing him.
That's a good idea.
That did cross my mind, but no.
Yeah, mine too.
Dog bone joints or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you had a little bit more real estate, you could saw part of that off and take that 12 by 12, a 10 by 12, and then you could get down there, off the edge of the table, but you don't have enough room to give that up.
Yeah.
Oh man, tough crowd.
Tough crowd.
Lyle Foyt is asking, do you know what stepper motors are on the Piranha? How many inch ounces of torque they have?
Ooh, that's a good question. Tim?
Way above my pay scale, man. I'm sorry. I can't help you with that.
Oh.
Let me get out my Texas Instrument calculator.
No, I've only had the thing for a few weeks, and I haven't gotten into the hardware. I was just so happy that it came out of the box ready to go.
I'm not even sure they have that information on the website.
It's not on not on the actual motors. I know that because I did look for that type of stuff.
The answer is jury's still out, Lyle.
Yeah, we have to refer them to the X-Wave Automation website, I think, to look that up. And like I said, I'm not even sure it's on there. I don't remember seeing it.
Okay. That's the last question I have from the chat.
I want to address your Christmas challenge thing that I have a video I'm super excited about. Every year I put out an anti-Black Friday video. And the idea to encourage people to not just, go buying a bunch of crap that nobody needs or wants and to make something. And so, and it's, so this year I incorporated the CNC into that thing. And what I did is I created a file share type setup with it. So I'm going to send it to you as soon as the video is done and everything. And hopefully help you kickstart that. Maybe people will jump in and add to my, so, I'll be contacting you in a few days.
Okay, good. Yeah, I
think it might fit,
I'm one of those guys where I hated it when I'd go into like Lowe's or Home Depot and they've already got all their Christmas decorations and stuff out and it wasn't even Halloween yet, So that's why the Christmas challenge starts on Black Friday. We're gonna get through Halloween and Thanksgiving. And then I'll start taking entries on Black Friday, all the way up through Christmas Eve.
Do you guys have price ranges for these CNCs?
Let me pull. I might have to pull up that website real quick because their prices have changed since I got this.
Yeah,
well, I might be able to help you out with that, Drew, because I was looking earlier. And the FX looks like the base machine is $15.99, and the XL, which I guess is basically the same machine, about 6 inches longer table, was $24.99. As I looked earlier.
And that does include the software, I believe, doesn't it, Dave? Still?
Yeah, it does include the VCarve desktop. I think it is what they're given with it, but I think it said on there, and Drew, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it said that the router is an item you get separately, and I guess they offer several different ones: the Bosch Colt, the DeWalt 611, the Porter cable, probably 450 or something like that.
Yeah, I never got my router with mine, and that was not made clear to me whenever I said, sure, I'll take it. So ended up having to negotiate a router out of the deal.
When I worked my deal out with Rockler, I have this old Stanley router from the 1950s. It kind of looks like R2D2, and it's just it's beautiful. I mean, you guys will love it. But so I just sort of sent them a picture attachment for this. Wink, wink. So they sent me the Bosch along with it because obviously I was not prepared. But yeah, it does not. It does not come with it.
Yeah, I can just see them at the other end of the computer going, "Yeah, we've got that. Let me send it to you." And it's router. Tim, whenever, and this is something that was really plaguing me when I was putting this thing together, but trying to get that router inside that adapter plate, that was some difficult stuff. And I was afraid I was going to break that plate.
Yeah, I was a little concerned too, because you have this thing, it's expensive and you don't know anything about it. There's always that unbox moment. And I was like, are you sure this will fit? And I was afraid to put a screwdriver in there,
Yeah.
Like cowboyed up, but I stuck a screwdriver and it pried right open and dropped in. But
that's what I had to do too. And I was like, oh God.
And then
yeah,
and then it's like, and then I was like afraid to tighten it too much, and then I start using it, and I'm like zeroing it out, and I watched that. I was like the router side. I was like, oh, I guess I got to crank it down too, because the router actually moved as I was trying to push it down against the work, and to zero it like actually pushed the router up in the harness. But it's pretty tough material. I don't know what kind of plastic it is.
Yeah, it's not. It looks metal at first, but
yeah, I thought it was too, but then it's pliable, and I don't know what it is. But it works.
Yeah, no doubt.
Are you talking about the router mount or the side plates there?
No,
well,
the actual mount plate right here that the router slides through, it is tight as can be.
It's
like inch thick plastic of some sort, and it's really like we were both afraid to move it.
Yeah, it's probably Delrin. But the side plates, they're made of aluminum, aren't they? They're on the sides of the gantry.
Yeah,
No,
right. And these are everything is aluminum except for that one little mounting plate for the router.
The uprights are some kind of other material though that hold the gantry. That part.
It's plastic as well.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now that being
cellophane on that though, there's cellophane's hard to get off.
Yeah.
Now that being said, do you have to tell them what kind of router you want to use, or it comes and you choose the router and that plate mounts to the different routers?
I think they have different plates for it. I'm not 100% certain. I know that there's I think you specify that, like what router you're going to use in the order.
I know that my mount says Delta on it, so it must be a different mount for each one of them. Yeah.
So my point is so when I order the machine, I tell it I want to use a Delta, a Bosch, or whatever router, and they send that with it, and then I put that router in there.
Right, it's like an option. Like, do you want Plaid or Paisley? Do you want Delta or Bosch? You have to type that in, and then if your router dies and you get a new router, you got to get the same one now, or you're going to have to buy another. Spend more money on another adapter.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm trying to think. They sent me. Yeah.
Oh, you got a spare.
There's the answers to your questions. There's DeWalt and.
Oh wow!
I didn't get a spare. I just got the one that was on it.
DeWalt and Bosch.
Yeah.
Well, Drew knows more people than you do.
Apparently.
We
I
have
only got one too, Tim.
Tommy Gonzalez is in the chat, and he said he looked it up. I guess he must have found it on their website. He says they're 269 ounce stepper motors. He must have found it on their website somewhere.
What does that mean? Is that good or bad?
That's pretty good. I used to use. In fact, I still have a machine out of my shop, one that I built about 10 years ago, that's using the 269 ounce. So they're good. The kits I buy now are a lot more. They're 425, but yeah, for a machine that small, that's really good for one like that.
That's basically the torque rating on each one of those stepper motors.
Okay,
is what that is. Was it 269 inch ounces? Wow, can't speak.
And those have 3 motors, right? One for each axis.
Right.
Yeah. Have either one of you had any kind of breakdown or had any reason to call for tech support or anything?
Not as of yet. I've been impressed with how well this was manufactured, and like Tim had mentioned before, it came right out of the box, assembled and ready to go. There were just some minor wire hookups is all you had to do, and it ran like a champ first right out of the box. And like I said, I got this a long time ago, back when the whole CNC thing was really prominent on YouTube. And I kept noticing how others were having a lot of issues with that one machine that was that was being used everywhere. And I never, ever have had that problem with this one. It is not gone off course from the files that I made. And I haven't had it stop in the middle of a carving yet. So I've been real impressed with the quality of it.
Nice. I agree.
Somebody, I think it was Russell last week, asked it was the stupidest thing that you ever did. Well, I did that with my Piranha FX. I had the laser attachment, which goes up into the bit, and you tighten it down, and then you start your program. Well, I put it up in there, tightened it down, and started the program, reached over and turned my router on. And that laser wire spun around and around and around and just exploded. I went, guess I need to get me a new laser. So I called them up. I called them up and they said, we'll send it back. And they charged me $79 to repair it. But I'm sure they had to replace the whole thing.
Now you know not to do that.
I know.
So did you have a music show with that for all the lasers going off?
I should have. I wish I'd have had a camera going. It was no, you wouldn't have liked the look on my face.
Oh yes, we would.
So basically, the software turns the router on for you, or did you reach over and turn it on yourself?
She turned it on herself, I think.
Oh man!
I can just imagine that wire.
She probably had laser burn lines all over her face.
Zach Manring from Southern Ginger Workshops in the chat. He wants to know from either Tim or Drew, how heavy is that machine?
What would you say this is?
I mean, you can pick it up.
Pick it up. You're sitting right there.
I mean, it's I don't know, probably about, what would you say, about 40 pounds maybe?
Yeah, I can pick it
I
up.
think even less.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your table, that's all aluminum, right? The table?
Right.
Yep.
And probably those front pieces, I guess, too, or something, or those.
Yeah, no, it's not hard to pick up and move. It's easy.
Yeah, I think these front pieces are actually the same thing as the gantry pieces. I don't think that's aluminum either, now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I can remember years ago when I first started thinking about CNC before I'd ever built one or anything, and this is way back before Next Wave Automation was involved with Rockler. But that's one of the things that when I looked at it, you know, for the price point, even back then, it was, I forget what it was, close to $3,000 or something like that for the Shark, I guess is what they called it. And it just seemed like, you know, for that kind of money, I think they, on that one though, don't they reinforce the sides with aluminum angle, I think, on some of the bigger.
I don't know.
I think that, but anyway, that's what kind of got me into this whole thing, was when I started looking, and I'm not just talking about the Shark, but just everything out there was way more money than I wanted to spend. And I thought, well, you know, Dave, you're a sheet metal guy. Let's just design your own. And that's kind of how I got into the, I see David standing up showing his shirt off over there. I don't know if he's doing that on purpose or not, but check's in the mail, David.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I'll turn my. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I didn't know if you had planned that or not, but
no. But next time, let me know, and we'll work on that together.
Okay, Zach over there at Southern Ginger is asking, with the weight that is, does it? Do you find it moving around on your table when it's carving?
Hey, Zach, what's up? Not at all. This, I don't know. It just doesn't vibrate. It's like I said, it's very well manufactured. Now I have put it on my non-slip router pad. I've just set it up on that, and that just takes some of the noise down. But as far as just having it on even a slick surface like my assembly table, it doesn't want to move.
I have mine clamped down.
I guess if you don't want to see it just all of a sudden fall off your table and you're over there somewhere, you might not want to do that. But
yeah, I know. I was watching a video that Tim did, and he had like an old little table or something, right? And it's on casters, I think, right, Tim?
Yeah, I had this. I mean, for those who don't know who I am, I'm a dumpster diver. I work all in trash, basically. And so I have this old table that I pulled out of the dumpster 30 years ago. It used to be my kitchen table or something. And I just put it on there. I put some wooden blocks around it to keep it from sliding when I move it around, so I can move it out of my way. It's on caster. I can push it in the corner when I'm done. And while I'm running it, that whole table from the back and forth motion will kind of wiggle a little bit, but it doesn't affect the cutting at all, because it's all moving in unison, and that's because the table it's on is a piece of junk. The machine's solid. It's just the table that's moving, you know.
What kind of cutting speeds are you getting out of that feed rate?
That's exactly what I was going to ask, Mark.
Ooh.
I don't know how to answer that. How long does it take to cut something, or?
Yeah, how many inches per minute are you cutting when you set it up, when you're doing your tool paths?
You know how in your tool library, Tim, and Drew too, when you're selecting a tool, you can set the default for how fast it will go and how deep it will cut right there.
I'm checking right now because I don't really know off the top of my head.
That's good. You get my laptop up to check it.
You guys may just be using the default values then, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I've been using so far. So I have a spindle speed of 12,000 RPM. My feed rate is, I just opened up a random project, is 50 inches per minute.
Mm-hmm.
And my plunge rate is 20 inches per minute. And that was the default for a 0.125 inch end mill. Just came up. Now I have to admit that I've only cut plywood with this thing so far because I'm a complete newbie, and I just created some files because I'm a reclaimed wood guy, so I have a couple ideas, and I'm going to start delving into some reclaimed wood, and I have some white oak. Change all of that stuff because that's just dense.
Okay.
So
okay, just
I was learning about that.
Just going anecdotally by my experience. It's a 12-inch by 13-inch cutting area. It's not going to have a heck of a lot of time to get up to real fast speed unless your acceleration is huge. That's a pretty small cutting area. It's not enough room for it to get up to speed and then slow down again. Or am I wrong there, Dave?
Well, as far as cutting, you could probably cut as fast as that machine would go. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, if that thing's using 269 ounce motors like my old one out in my shop back, I can cut at 100 inches a minute, and I bet that thing probably would too. Now it would depend on what kind of bit you got and your depth of cut and what kind of material you're cutting and all that. But I'm sure you could probably do 100 inches a minute or maybe even more. Just depending on what you're cutting.
Okay.
Well, how much of it depends upon the router itself, though?
Well, that's the other thing too. Like if these have smaller palm routers, I'm assuming they're probably 1.25 horsepower, something like that. That comes into play too. But again, I've always told people, when you're first starting out, don't worry about going real fast and don't worry about going real deep. But if you start shallow and you go, well, you can tell by listening to the sound of the router that it's not laboring at all going through the stuff. Then you can kind of bump it up in speed until it starts to chatter a little bit, and then back it off about 15%. And then that's the ideal speed for that material and for that depth of cut, whatever you're cutting.
Right.
But I personally, I've always been a shallow cutter. I'd rather go fast and shallow.
Do 10 cuts. Yeah, 10 passes.
Yeah, and because really the cycle time works out about the same. Because if you say, well, I'm going to go twice as deep, but now I got to slow it down to from 100 to 30, it's going to take longer doing it that way.
I mean, so much less can go wrong the less cutter that's in the wood. Like when you start putting that router bit deep in there, so much can go wrong. Could kick it like you come loose. I mean, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. CNCs are like hot rods. Speed costs money. How fast can you afford to go? If you want to cut at 600 inches per minute, you need to be talking to the guys at Laguna or something like that. But I don't know. I just don't put a lot of emphasis on speeds.
I don't know.
Like you say, Dave.
I was thinking of putting a blower motor right up here on top of this sucker. Right?
There you go.
A little more airflow in there.
There you go. With a filter.
Glass packs.
I got no more questions over here on the side on the chat.
Okay, I see Gussie Banjos is saying, could you put it on the wall? I'm assuming he's talking about mount that small one vertically on the wall. I'm not sure if that's what he's talking about or not.
You mean just for like storage?
Or to run it that way?
I don't know. I think some people, get this idea that if they're short on space, they could build a CNC that's vertically and stuff. And I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying as far as I'm concerned, it's more trouble than it's worth, because you're going to have some kind of counterweight.
There's some plasma cutters that work that way.
You got gravity fighting you as well as everything else. So
right.
Yeah, but all this, you could just put a garbage can underneath for all the sawdust to fall into.
Yeah, it would keep your table clean.
Hey, Drew.
Hey, what's up, Russ?
Your Piranha's nice, but compared to my GarageWorks CNC, it just comes up short.
I see what you did there.
Right?
I gotta agree with that. I have them both, and I wouldn't go back to the Piranha for anything.
I hated to say that, but I just had to put it in there.
Oh, tough crowd. I'm betting that would be an excellent little machine for engraving.
Yeah, I think it's just, and I saw a question. I don't know if we've skipped over it or what. I saw it briefly a while back. And somebody says, well, why would you buy one like that instead of building one? And, building a CNC, not everybody wants to do that. Some people like the turnkey stuff and all that. And, not everybody's into building one. Right. So,
well, and another thing is too, is if you don't have the space for a built one, like, because I would think if you're building one, you're going to probably have a dedicated spot, a dedicated table, and it's probably going to be a fairly good size unit. And for a space like mine, I don't have that kind of room. So having something like this that I can easily move from one place to another and store it away, that's perfect for my needs.
I'm with you there 100%, because that takes up maybe the same amount of space as, what would you say, maybe one of the, like the lunchbox planer maybe?
Yeah. Or, I mean, not even a footprint of a scroll saw. I mean, it's even smaller than that, I would think. So,
and also you have to remember, you're really only limited by the width of the thing. You could run a long 8-foot board through there, it's going to take you longer and all that, but you can use the indexing method or tiling method in VCarve Pro, or I assume Desktop has that too. And just, clamp it, do what you can reach, then slide it down, clamp it again, do some more. So you can still do a fairly good sized project. And, even for that smaller footprint, or cutting area, you can, there's ways to get around that.
Okay, so now you're making me feel bad about my smart aleck comment.
No, you've got a hell of a machine, Russ.
No,
but go with that feeling anyway.
I was just playing around with you, Drew. I love you, bro.
Whatever, Russ. You hurt my feelings.
Okay.
I look at the Piranha as like an introductory model to this world, because I'm a guy that I'm like you guys. I make stuff and I tinker with everything, and one of my sayings is it's not really yours until you take in a drill press to it. So while the idea of building a CNC machine is very enticing to a guy like me, I do absolutely nothing about them, and I still know very little. So something like the Piranha, and then there's space, of course, too. Like I could create the space in my shop for one if it became this viable tool that warranted that much space. And now with the Piranha, I could learn about them, and I could potentially go and build one and work with someone like you, Dave, in the future. But for now, it's like you're just like, yeah, you want to learn how to use it, and you got enough space to put away a scroll saw. This is the machine. I mean, it's like it's CNC 101 for anybody. Open the box and you're using it within an hour.
And not only that, Tim, you've also got, and I can just speak for myself here. The cutting area on my CNC is only 24 by about 34, and I've never wished that I've had one bigger. I mean, most of the things that I cut out would fit on your machine. And for those that would need to go a little bit larger, there are ways of doing it. So
if you split it in half and you glue it together later, I mean, we're woodworkers. We know how to do that, I guess, and I'm looking forward to exploring that more as I learn the machine, how I can put half.
And there are ways within your VCarve software that you can tile the tool paths. You can cut a portion, move the board up, and then cut another portion, move the board up, and off you go. But and the great thing about learning that VCarve software is you can take that to just about any machine.
Cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, you can use that. That's what I'm using on a home built, and that's what a lot of folks are using with the Garage Works. I mean, there are people out there with $8,000 and $10,000 machines using that VCarve software to design their files and run their tool paths.
Well, how many of you are using? Have any of you started messing around with Fusion 360?
No,
my brother's using that right now with his metalworking CNC.
Mm-hmm.
So he's figuring it out slowly, but yeah, that is what he is using.
Because I was wondering if that was something. I've been starting to look at it, and it's overwhelming, and I want to learn it because I don't like anything being better than me. but it seems so daunting.
A very, very steep learning curve. It's great for assemblies. And we got Lyle Foyt commenting over here in the chat room saying he uses Fusion 360, and it's a lot more complicated than Aspire, which is Vectric's top of the line above VCarve. So
he did say, my brother did say that a lot of the keystrokes and names of the tools that you would use in SketchUp are very similar to what Fusion 360 has.
Okay.
So the learning curve, I mean, if you know SketchUp pretty well inside and out, the learning curve to learn Fusion 360, I've been told, is not as steep as you would think.
That's true to a point. But what I think is good about the Piranha that y'all have is a lot of people are looking for a plug-and-play type machine. In other words, they order it, it comes home out of the box, I plug it up, I do my little thing and put the input into it, and it cuts something. And so for that, I would give it hands down a really nice machine for being able to plug and play and make it do something.
Yeah, not everyone's full time in there and doing this stuff. Yeah, but they want to compete and they want to be in there. And I mean, not everybody can just take a week to build their CNC, or have them in a one-car garage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's plug and play. You bring it home, take it home. Get the software running, put it in the machine, plug it up, and it cuts it out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here to tell you that if you're going to do an unboxing video, just be prepared to open and close that box many, many times, especially while you talk.
That's what happened to me, because I set up this thing with Rock. I was like, well, the first video will just be an unboxing video, and went and I did it, and I was like, well, that's a really boring video. So I had to go and actually, in my first video, have some projects ready. But I was able to start doing some very simple carvings very quickly, and I was able to put that together in a week,
Yeah, I did a multiple. Like they gave me a list of things that they wanted me to accomplish with the receiving of this unit, and I accomplished like 3 or 4 of them in one video. Because an unboxing, you're just sitting here going, "Here it is. It's got that. It does this." Yeah.
Well, some people will do anything for a video.
What you're describing is exactly what they want to see. Because for the average person that buys that and brings it home and puts it on their countertop, that's what they are, their tool desk or wherever, that's what they want to see. They want to see it's easy to use. I unbox it. It's ready to use. I put the software in, I use it, and boom, it cuts me something out.
Yep.
And there's another brand that won't be mentioned that had a bunch of videos about it, and all the video makers were talking about how difficult it was to assemble it. That was like a big thing. You know?
Yeah, it took like months almost for some people.
Yes.
Someone like me, probably.
Go ahead,
We
mention
talk about that one.
it. Go ahead, mention it. We do all the time.
We won't mention their name, but their initials is X-Carve.
Yeah. I know one YouTuber who got one sent to him, and he never finished putting it together.
They
I know a couple
actually
that given away already.
Yeah.
They actually contacted me, and I told them I didn't want it.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I got an email. It's still in my inbox to this day. And I told them, no, thank you. I don't want it.
If anybody's curious about this unit, the control module or the power module box has your X, Y, and Z plugs. Also has the control module plug that goes to the actual control box itself, and then the AC adapter to go into a plug-in. I mean, it's super simple. So I mean, like Tim and I are showing an unboxing, hooking 4 wires up, and we're saying, "All right, done."
Yeah.
All right, I got 19,000 wires here.
It wouldn't even last. The video wouldn't even last long enough for that ad to stop running it unless you click it.
That's actually awesome that it's that easy to hook up.
It really, and I was, my big thing for that was I had this old Garmin mount that my uncle gave me. I don't have a Garmin, and so, but it's the same thread. It's the typical 1/4" 20 thread. So I had this, and I screwed that thing to my little table I put her on. I put that box because it has the thread in the back of it, the controller box that Drew's holding up. And so now I have my box mounted, and I can just angle it and adjust it or whatever on this mount.
Yep.
That was like the most exciting part of the unboxing.
Yeah.
And I want to say that I agree entirely about the beginner thing, because when I got mine, I knew nothing about CNCs, and I had to learn V-carve, which was the hardest thing to do. I mean, plugging it in is easy, but you still have to know V-carve in order to get it to work. And once I had V-carve under my belt, I was ready for more. And that's when I found Dave and, said, I can do this. And I made several of my pieces for my big CNC on my Piranha. And it's a great stepping stone. It's a great training tool. And I'd recommend it if you've got the money to, buy 2 to go that way.
Yeah, I always say any CNC is better than not having one at all. We knock on the X-Carve some, but I've got one here. Obviously, they wouldn't send me one, but I did take one in on trade, and I plan to use it as and put a laser on it and use it with a laser, and I think it's going to be a great little machine for that. But yeah, all these smaller entry level machines, there's nothing wrong, because once you learn, get your feet wet with CNC and learn about feeds and speeds and different bits and all, learn the software and all that, you could easily go from that little 12 by 13 cutting area that you have there, Tim, to, a 4 by 8, because
what's the difference?
Once you get the basics, it's all the same, just the different size of the bed.
Well, let me ask you, is that V-Carve Pro or is that V-Carve Desktop that it comes with?
Desktop is what we're using. At least
Desktop,
that's what
okay. Okay, so you're limited on that software. You're limited to 24 inches by 24 inches, but still, that's not bad. And, once you know how to use V-Carve, you know how to use V-Carve, and you can run, any version of V-Carve after that.
So is the user interface on Pro the same user interface as Desktop? It's just a little bit more involved?
There are a few options on VCarve Pro that are not on desktop. Like you do have that restriction on cutting size, but there's also things like the job sheets that we can print up. We can print up a job sheet it's just a printed document that tells us feed, speeds, bits, what tool paths you're going to use, and just basically spells out everything so you can take it out in the shop with you and you're not trying to remember, oh crap, was that a 1/4 inch bit or did I have a 1/2 inch bit on this? It's got various things. It does nesting of parts, just various different little additional bonuses that come along with VCarve Pro. But it's also quite a bit of difference in price too. I think desktop is what, $250, something like that, and VCarve Pro is $700. So
yeah, it's kind of like comparing iMovie and Final Cut Pro. It's the prices are pretty drastic.
Yeah.
I'm going to nod my head.
And they don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm going to nod my head in agreement because I'm a PC guy and I have no clue what you're talking about.
Tim knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about too.
I'm using iMovie and I've seen Final Cut Pro.
If you have desktop and you want to go to Pro, though, they give you a huge discount on
Yes,
Pro.
they do.
Oh yeah.
So
yes, they do. They credit you with quite a bit of the purchase price, and the same thing with Aspire. They'll credit you with the purchase price on that too. So
cool.
And I can't say enough about Vectric support. Vectric is a good company, and if you got any questions at all about anything, if they can't, if they can't fix it, it ain't broke. That's just all there is to it.
I will say, when I first got this unit, I was having to just kind of remain in contact with them during the whole setup and process, and their customer service is excellent.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, well, if we don't have any more questions over there, I guess we'll start wrapping this one up. We've gone over a little bit here.
Not much, a little bit.
I want to thank you guys for being on here tonight. Thank you, Drew, for talking about your Piranha. And thanks, Tim, for coming by.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
Your first time here on the show. Hopefully it won't be your last.
Probably
not. And also, before we sign off here, I wanted to talk about, Tim mentioned the giveaway earlier. For those of you who live in a cave and haven't heard, I'm doing another giveaway. It's going to be a 36 by 24 model, which is the middle size one. That's bigger than the one I gave away last February. And I'm going to start taking entries for that December 1st. Going to take entries all through the month of December, and we'll do a live drawing here on this show on January 14th. So, I've already had some people go, well, I've looked on your website, I haven't seen the stuff. Was because I haven't put it up there yet. Like I said, the drawing's not going to start till the 1st. And also, like I said, we talked about the Christmas challenge. Hopefully we'll get a bunch of entries in for that. I do have some stuff on the website. That's on the other website. The giveaway is going to be on the GarageWorks CNC website. The Christmas challenge is on my old website, the CNCsidewinder.com website. And I do already have some information up there about that. So hopefully we got lots of entries. We've already got, speaking of Rockler has offered to donate a set of CNC router bit kit. I think it's like 4, 5, 6 bits, $200 value, I think. So that's a prize. We've got another fella, John Meyer, is going to do $150. I'll be doing lots of gift cards and things like that. And also, this contest isn't just for people in the U.S. It's for pretty much anywhere. However, the prizes will probably have to be limited to, as far as the physical prizes, will have to be limited to, probably U.S., maybe Canada. But anybody overseas or whatever will come up with a gift card or something like that. So hopefully we'll get lots of entries on that as well. So if anybody doesn't have anything else, anybody have anything else they want to say before we sign off here?
Just give me sawdust.
Amelia, please.
Okay, well, I guess, again, thanks you guys for being on the panel tonight. Got some new faces on here. And I guess I should mention that too, because we've still got quite a few people watching live. Anybody that would like to be on the panel, I'm not, all you got to do is ask. I'll send you a link. We like to have some new faces and new comments and all that stuff on here. So anybody wants, if you've got a webcam and a pretty strong internet signal and you want to be on the panel tonight, just let me know. Be happy to send you a link and come join us. Okay, well, I guess that's going to do it. Thanks again, Drew, for being my guest tonight. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I had a blast. Thank you for the invite, and I hope I shed some light on some things for some people with this unit, even though I didn't know a whole heck of a lot about it.
Well, that's okay. I mean, like I said, that's still a fairly new machine. I think there's not probably a whole lot of them out there, but we like to learn about new machines, and I appreciate you being on and showing yours.
Well, thank you very much. And if you want to invite me again, or like I said, I'll be on a panel.
Okay. Well, good. We'll have you back on here. All right.
Lots of sawdust.
Well, I'm gonna have to get off of here before Russ starts singing. So, all right. Appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all for watching tonight. We had upwards of 70 people watching live tonight. That's really awesome. So please like and subscribe on your way out, and we'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a great weekend.
Have a good night, y'all. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on the way out.
And don't forget, I love sawdust.